Hello everybody, it's Jason Artiga and this is Cinema Macabro YouTube channel. I had the displeasure of being invited to a screening of the new Star Wars film, Rise of the Skywalker. Now, The Force Awakens was pretty much a love letter to the original Star Wars. When I found out J.J. Abrams was involved, I wasn't really too convinced because, let's face it, Lost ended really bad, and it was full of cliches with them constantly using the MacGuffin in their story. Like, it was pretty much the same thing, searching and searching, and for a tepid ending. So I wasn't really expecting much with The Force Awakens. Then I saw the behind-the-scenes footage of them using real practical effects, and I was sold. Did I enjoy The Force Awakens? Of course. I actually liked that film. I thought Harrison Ford kind of steals a lot of from the young cast. And the young cast was pretty much a breath of fresh air. I mean, Daisy Ridley is awesome. She's channeling a little Audrey Hepburn in her film, and she's really good as an alpha female. And John Boyega, he's awesome. And of course, I mean, you have one of the best actors of this generation, Oscar Isaac. He was one of my favorite actors. Then we had the sequel. The difference between the first and the second one is the sequel was pretty much a woke piece of dung.
For the first time ever,
it constantly pushed politics in your face and this wokeness of girl power, and where it didn't need to do that. The feminism angle of the second film was bad, not as bad as a lot of fanboys say it was, but it was bad enough to dislike it. If you're going to do a feminist sci-fi film, look at Aliens, or look at a movie such as Halloween, the new Halloween, or the first Halloween, or another film, the Terminator 2 in particular, where the character tends to shift to a more masculine angle, and all of a sudden we start to see this gender swap of female characters doing things like that you would see in Rambo films. And not only we accepted it, we wanted more of that. Very much, obvious. So it became the most hated out of the Star Wars franchise. I saw this one, everybody was signing NDAs, but for some reason they looked at me in the list. They didn't tell me to sign anything. They told me to go ahead and walk. So there's going to be a few minor spoilers of this film, and it picks off where it left off. Snoke is dead, and Palpatine is alive, and he's in this area where, like, these weird hooded guys, we don't know who they are, who brought him, and we have Rey. She ends up going to Leia. She starts training, and I'm not going to give a full review of this film for one reason. This film was pretty much a convoluted mess in writing. I mean, the writing in here is absolutely god-awful. Let me tell you something. I got more talent in the head of my than the writers in this movie. It doesn't make sense. Like, Rey's journey goes from place to place, and she pretty much remains unscathed throughout the whole film, like this immortal Jedi. But that takes the challenge from the character. Where in Empire Strikes Back, the best Star Wars film ever made, Luke goes through this tough journey where he self-doubts himself because of the feelings of the Force and the anger and all these feelings and his insecurities, and he eventually gets his hand chopped off. And Luke is not the most perfect out of, like, all the Star Wars characters, and we see this challenge, like these obstacles that he goes through, and the pain and the loss he goes through based on his journey. He does go through a loss, and part of that loss is the loss of innocence. I mean, Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen getting slaughtered, but in this one, it's just like Daisy Ridley is always winning, and always winning for a character, especially when you focus on female characters or LGBT characters or minority characters is the biggest flaw of writing these kind of characters is pretty much not giving them too much obstructions that they have to go through. They make leaps and bounds, and that's like a Hollywood political decision. Like you see films where you want the characters to suffer, like you would suffer if you were to go, and you want to relate to these characters, and Hollywood's not doing this. They make Rey this superwoman and the male characters bumbling idiots. In the new Star Wars film, like John Boyega and Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac, they go from these really good characters from The Force Awakens to tepid characters in the second film to the replacements for R2-D2 and C3PO. I mean, all they did throughout the whole film was bicker. And they basically took two minority characters and very good actors at that, where everybody in this film is doing their part in the film. But they take these very, very good minority actors. Oscar Isaac is Latino and John Boyega is black. I'm like, you're just going to underuse them as comedy relief? No, they were good characters to begin with. John Boyega's character especially sets up the scene for the first Awakens movie where he's a stormtrooper, and you're just going to tell him, turn him into the comedy relief. It doesn't make any sense, and they make these male characters bumbling idiots. I don't know what the message Catherine Kennedy, who's producing, is trying to convey here, but it just doesn't work out and seems so forced. Now, Daisy Ridley is a great actor, and so is Adam Driver. And with her, she fights Kylo Ren. A couple of people die, and then they come back. A couple of characters come back, and the motivation is not really there. It's actually poorly executed. Like, for instance, there's a one scene where she goes to Endor, and there's like, she has to go on this island, and there's this like big storm, and she has to go like cross this ocean, and they tell her not to go, and Rey goes, but instead of waiting it out, you know, the next day, she goes right there and like nothing, like makes it to her destination. And then you have like subplots with like these cubes, these Sith cubes, and this one particular, that's actually a ghost. I have a ghost in my studio. This one scene in particular where C3PO gets a hold of these Sith writings that he cannot speak of. All right, he's forbidden to speak of, and the only way, you know, because he knows what's going on. And the only way he can reveal it if they erase his memory. I mean, who the writes this? Seriously, who writes this? This is just garbage writing. It's lazy. And, you know, there's one scene where she kills, you know, well, spoiler alert. She kills Kylo Ren, and he comes back. And, like, it just doesn't make any sense. When they use the Force, it's so cringeworthy because they're very powerful Jedi, but just making them too powerful, I'm like, what is this, fucking Dragon Ball? Another thing that I didn't understand is the motivations for all the characters. I mean, like, Rey goes on his journey, she got to find his cube. Kylo Ren wants to kill Palpatine. And then one of the biggest reveals in there is Rey's connection with Palpatine is just absolutely horrible. It's like a bad soap opera writing, like lazy. It's like, let's throw this shit in here today. Now, I'm not going to give the spoilers of what it is. Some of you guys probably know what it is, but it doesn't make any sense, which makes the ending of this film like absolutely nonsense. So Rey, you know, finds Palpatine, and she fights Kylo Ren again. And there's this one scene where Rey is like this superwoman, like where Kylo Ren comes in a TIE fighter, and, you know, Rey waits for him, and she just does that jump shit, and I'm just like, come on, dude, this is not Star Wars. This is garbage. You know what I mean? At least put an emphasis on some realism where some of the characters you know could die. When I first saw Empire Strikes Back, which in my opinion has one of the best writing by Lawrence Kasdan, I think that was the screenwriter. he puts the elements of danger in these characters. Like, virtually there's no element of danger. So, you know, you don't feel that risk that a lot of these characters eventually going through. Han gets put in carbonite, Luke loses an arm or a hand, and pretty much everything goes dark. You know, Luke finds out Darth Vader's his father, etc., etc., etc. That was straightforward, almost like an opera. You know, where right where Luke fights Darth Vader is where the pitch comes up, like almost like a Greek tragedy. This film had none of that. It didn't make any sense. It was too many plot holes, so many more plot holes than a hobo's underwear. And unfortunately, that's what it was. And then Rey's character being virtually invincible in this film. There's one scene where she fights Kylo Ren, gets hit with a lightsaber, and she just shrugs it off. And I'm like, come on, put some fucking danger in this film. And that's what we don't see. So automatically you're not gonna like relate to the characters. And then on top of that, we get to see the darker version of Rey, which is like 100 times more appealing as a character, because Rey's characters, I think this other reviewer named Gonzalo Liras called it sexless. She's a sexless character. What I used to say is the tomboy. And we don't have to sexualize certain characters, but man, she was hot as a Sith babe, you know, with her like lightsaber. And I thought that was cool because she was channeling pretty much like an inner like Angelina Jolie, as he put it. And I thought this part was actually good. But other than that, it's just a streaming mess. It's a streaming garbage. And great cinematography, amazing locations, and the new green screen. The way they use pretty much the same technology as The Mandalorian, but the writing is atrocious. The acting is quite good, and you got a lot of cameos like actor Richard Grant, who was in Rogue One. You know, the actor who played Ian, the actor who I can't even get his name right, who played Palpatine, and a couple of other cameos that I'm not going to ruin it for you, but it kind of came off across weak and nostalgic. And now here's the thing: I went to the screening, and I got to say that I'm expecting to see a lot of these reviewers who had to sit through this pile of shit to praise it, because a lot of reviewers, I got a friend who's a professional reviewer, I'm not going to say what publication, who time and time gets invited by Disney to these lavish trips to review a film. And of course they're not going to like downplay the film or give it a bad review. You know, I'm sure Peter Travers from Rolling Stone gets fucking lavish gifts to, you know, to review films. And you know, it's just smoke and mirrors with these reviewers. And of course you're gonna have people say it's not perfect, but it's still good. No, this movie sucks. The writing absolutely sucks. Like, I know people in my old screenwriting class at Hunter College who can write better than this steaming pile of garbage. Other than that, you know, I'm glad it's over, and I hope this ends the Star Wars. Like, I hope they don't make another film. The Mandalorian is where it's at, and Jon Favreau writes it like an auteur. Like, The Mandalorian has, you know, the character's motives. You know where he's going, A to B. You know what obstacles he goes through. The character's not perfect. He gets beat up. He fights back. Sometimes his methods work, other times it don't work. And that's the charm of The Mandalorian on Disney+. I would say skip this new Star Wars piece of dung. And before I end this review, when you go and watch this film, the last line in the film, in a scene that takes place in Tatooine, is so cringeworthy because the plot hole, I don't want to give it up, but it has to do with my name is Skywalker or something like that. It's just horrible. So guys, tell me what you think of the new Star Wars film if you saw it. leave a comment in the comment box below. And please subscribe. I need more subscribers. And hopefully I won't review another mainstream movie for a long time.